Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we continue our artist series right here at BusyWorksBeats.com/premium. Today we're going to make a Tyler the Creator track and you guys will get the project files for free. So this comes down to a really complex chord voicing, but once you understand it, it's pretty easy. So we're going to take the root note, make sure you guys can see, and then we're going to count up 7 notes from here to create the fifth. And then we're going to count up 7 more notes to create the ninth, which is a perfect fifth from the perfect fifth. So again, we have the root note, 7 notes up. This is a perfect fifth. And then the perfect fifth of the perfect fifth is called the ninth, which is 7 notes up. Now from here, all we got to do is form a major triad starting from the next note just above the ninth, which is A. So now we're going to create a major triad from here. And if you guys don't know what a major triad, it's 0-4-7 if you understand my chord codes. If not, go to BusyWorksBeats.com/premium. You'll learn more. So basically, wherever you start is 0, and you count up your keyboard note by note, including the black notes, until you finish out the chord code. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you just count it on your keyboard. As long as you can count, you can make chords. So that's a very advanced voicing of, I believe, a minor ninth chord, if I'm not mistaken. And let's get a tempo going. So here's the speed I was playing it. Oh, sorry, y'all. Here's the speed I was playing it naturally. So I don't know what speed that would be. So dun, 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 dun. Somewhere around 90. You want to be safe not to go too fast, because if you play super rushed, it's going to be bad. And if you play super slow, it can also mess you up. So somewhere in between there, I'm recording my actual keyboard for the grand piano sound, and then we're in Keyscape within Omnisphere here. So, and we're playing the Rode sound here. So if you're wondering what the sounds are, these don't come with the DAW. It's a little sloppy. I think the BPM's a little too slow. So let's go to song mode and speed it up by like a hair or two, because it being so slow is messing my playing up. So let's do this again. All right, so let's do this one more time. Make sure we're recording that keyboard. Again, it's a little difficult to play and talk at the same time. And always when you hit record is when you start messing up. So this may take a couple times. We're doing this from scratch here. Here's a little tip also. Let's leave a bar of time so that we're not rushing to perfectly line it up with that first downbeat. That will fix a lot of timing issues. So let's just wait a bar. 1, 2, 3. Hit the wrong chord there. Let's play it again. All right, so anytime I make a mistake, I just pause and then bring it back. All right, so we made a couple mistakes, all good. So again, that trick of just waiting a bar. So as you guys can see, the way we were playing it, it starts before the downbeat. So if you try to rush perfectly on the downbeat, it's just gonna sound off. And that's probably what's throwing you guys off half the time. So just leave that bar empty in the beginning if you guys struggle. So it looks like I messed up somewhere around bar 9. So we're just gonna literally just chop this and then chop it over here and figure out how to make this blend. I'm not trying to overly make this perfect, but we do need to make this blend though. Okay, so we're gonna bring this MIDI in earlier. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it because we can't really see the whole picture here. It's not showing us all the notes. All right, now we see all the notes and we can kind of line these notes up with the audio. And we can see a couple notes here. I think all we got to do. All right, so this is a little tricky because this part of the pattern is different than this part of the pattern. So we have to go in, figure out where this is and delete it. So that fixed whatever issues we had. All we got to do is just make sure these MIDI notes are long enough. Okay, so it's a little short. A little shy of the bar, but okay, so we fixed it. All right, so next I want to create changes. So I like this chord progression, but I just want to have variation. So that was the main dominant, or I'm trying not to get too deep in the weeds, but that is a dominant chord, and it's the altered chord of the dominant, raised fifth, raised ninth. This is the turnaround chord, basically. So what I'm going to do next is play a different turnaround chord. So instead of this, we're going to end on a different A major chord just to switch it up. And then I'm going to have another ending where it goes, and then we'll do 2-5-1 for A minor. So it'll be, play a little bit better than that, but we're gonna have basically 3 endings. Okay, the dominant chord, we're gonna do A major, and then we're gonna do 2-5-1 into A minor. So it changes the ending each time, and that harmonic change creates the chills that people get when they hear like different things. Okay, so let's try it, recording this again. And then here's where I missed the timing there because I was thinking too much. So let's go back and record. And I think that recorded the MIDI. All right, so that recorded. Let's go to a different pattern just so we're not overlapping the MIDI. And now let's do 2-5-1. And let's try to get the timing right. So far we're decent in timing. It's a little hard to nail that sustain pedal, but we got everything we need. So let's run this from the beginning. All right, now one more thing we can do just for a little switch up is basically I'm just going to transpose my keyboard up 1 semitone. Now you could just sit there and learn a new key, but I'd rather just quickly just transpose for this demonstration. And let's go to a new pattern and we're going to play the same chords where it's just pitched up 1 semitone. And this is going to create that turnaround, change up energy. Some people call it a bridge. I'm going to call it a B section for this song. Let me do it one more time because my foot keeps missing the sustain pedal. So this is very difficult to do this all in one take, but So let's just end there. We could, go through a whole thing where we do the same thing, just pitched up one semitone. But for now, we have a lot of going on. So for this last chord, I'm also going to overlay it and crossfade it to see if we can make this more sustained because I ended the chord too early. It sounds a little bit not bad, but let's maybe turn this one down so it doesn't go wow, wow like that. And that way it looks more like a sustain of the original sound than some second playing of it. All right, so that's like a hack way of extending a chord. Basically, you're just adding a decay curvature to it with a crossfade. Now the audience is barely going to know the difference there. All right, now let's get to the drums. We're going to use Addictive Drums. Shout out to Ron Got the Recipe who put me up on to Addictive Drums 2. And they just came out with a hip hop pack, which is crazy. First of all, you just need to buy everything they drop in terms of Addictive Drums. And let's get some drums going. So the thing is, we want more organic drums for Tyler, the Creator sound. We're not just going to use trap drums. I found the easiest thing to do is just get the hi-hats going. The reason I think we should, simple hi-hat like this. We might not need to play a complete performance all of the way through. I think sometimes it's overkill to play all your drums all by hand because there's so many little time differences. All we really need is about 8 bars. So let's record that in. All right, so now we have that. Let's take the keyboard off recording. Again, you guys will get the project files for free. We're doing not super advanced stuff, but those chords were very advanced. And it's not something you could just kind of click in. You have to play it by hand to really get that feel. Now for the drums, I'm probably going to hit Control P. Quantize these. There's no reason for the drums to be like super off the grid and Jay Dilla style. So we're just going to quantize these for now, unless it sounds robotic later. Let's hit Control B to latch paste. And hopefully I have enough. And now let's get the kick and snare. I think we can get away with just a rim. Let's record this in. Let's do a simple rim in the beginning and then get bouncier on the second part. Now the kick I might grab from a sample. See the switch up? All right, now we can copy that. So basically I'm going to chop it. Let's first quantize and only nudge if we have to. There's no, again, reason to have that played by hand with the timing. We're going to duplicate the second half over here and then the first half over here because we left this kind of 1 bar transition sound here. All right, now we're probably going to grab a kick from a sample kit. So we're going to look for somebody who has an acoustic style hard hitting drum. So Count is known for his acoustic harder hitting kicks. So let's use Count's drum. And let me see if I can get a nice rhythm with it. So boom, ta, doom, doom, ta, doom, ta. Let's record this in. It looks like my snare got off. Okay, so what happened with the quantize? Darn, we might have to Control Z that for a while. Okay, so basically when I quantized, I had it on the wrong setting. I had it on 1/2, and I usually have it for higher BPMs. I meant to do 1/4 because we're at a lower BPM. So you got to be careful with the quantize setting there, or else it will mush notes together. All right, so let's add this kick back to Control L. Just trim the kick and hit Control L. All right, so now we're basically just going to play this kick in. So let's record. All right, so really simple drums. Really the hardest part is just getting those chords down really and the performance. So now we need some kind of, standout sound like a lead or some kind of random like vocal sample that just stands out of the mix. I didn't notice we had the piano missing there. Now we're just gonna add little lead sounds and little like leading notes, like little riffs type stuff. Take off my MIDI controller here so I can just play the audio. And I want to route the pianos to a different channel just so we can free up. Let's route these to channel 4. So here you can add like a double melody, really. You could go back and just record a whole nother line. Depends on what you guys are trying to create. So again, a faster way to do this is go to the channel rack and just paste the value here. All right, so let's come up with a little stuff. Yeah, because the chords are moving so fast, it's a little bit hard to freestyle the improv there. So let's start working on the bass and the lead sound here. Start leveling these pianos too. right, so now I'm just reactivating the keys. All right. So I'm basically playing the same chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then. So I'm only playing 6 notes at a time here. Sloppy there. I messed up. So again, we're just basically playing the same exact chords, just spread out, so it sounds like a bass line. Now the bass line was a little rough, not as perfectly played. So we're gonna have to quantize this, but not too much. So here's my hack. Basically with the bass, I'll quantize it and then time shift the entire performance so it fits in a pocket. Not the greatest thing, but also when you quantize, it gives it a definitive note length. So sometimes you played shorter notes, and if you quantize, it will elongate the notes, which is not what we're trying to do. So in this case, we have to hit Alt Q and not mess with the duration of the notes. We have to take off any templates that you guys may have on. So I basically have to go in here and go back to the default template. All right. And then we're going to just nudge this around so that it does not mess with the note length. Again, the bass could be a lot better. I'm not a bass master at all. Not a live bass, I should say. Let's just turn the bass down. It's cool enough bass line. Now, because we recorded the MIDI, we can basically make this second half unique and just hit Shift up to transpose it up 1, which is what we did on the keyboard. So that saves a lot of time. Now we just got to add, really we're done. We could add a lead sound in here, but it needs vocals and just a performance over it. sound here. So I'm gonna mess with this one. I'm just playing again the same chords. I'm treating the chords as if they are a scale. So that's, you know, when you guys ask me which scale, I'm thinking of the chords more than a scale. So the only thing here we're going to get rid of is the release tail because it overlaps into the next sound. So hopefully this is easy to solve. Just want to pull that release down. It looks like they all have a shared envelope. So this is going to be a very subtle. Let's combine these E piano takes. Let's say Control G to combine it into one long pattern. Pull these pianos closer together so we can see it. There is a shortcut to compile audio, but just save that for now. Actually, it might help this track. So let's highlight the audio, hit Control G. So now we have all the piano in one and then all the E piano. I think I want to bring in the grand piano over time because it's very harmonically rich. So let's save the grand piano and just start off with the drum and a softer vibe. And now we can pull everything back. Now we can go back to the drum kit and switch out the different drums, get a different vibe. Has a little more vibe on this one. Like we could either change the drum rhythm or just distort the drums more. add a little more kick activity. So let's run this back. I'm just going to record another kick. I want it to go boom, ta ta, the boom, ta, boom, boom, like that. So I'm going to change out the hi-hat pattern, something like that. It makes it less stiff. So this may or may not work. Let's try it though. I gotta run it back because I switched hands as I was recording, so didn't want it to be inconsistent. So the track just needs more energy. Again, the vocals could be a lot of the harmonies and energy, the background stuff. I'm just trying to find different drums to layer in here. I feel like this is a very Tyler the Creator type snare clap. Shout out the Count drums. Let's put this on the 2 and the 4. There we go. Now we have that offset. Maybe add an open hi in here. Let's see where it fits the best. now we're just stacking rhythms over top of this track here, and then we'll find that one sound to make it stand out, even though I feel like the beat just needs vocals at this point, but we still need to add a little sub rhythm. Like that recording was really good by hand, so we're gonna keep it. Let's see how that percussion just opens up that rhythm, that offset rhythm. We're gonna leave it loud like that too. See if we can layer some claps in here. Might see if I can find some Pharrell drums. Let's layer these drums in here. Simple, just 2 and the 4 clap, nothing crazy. I'm gonna change the tuning of the little percussion just so it like has a vibe. Let's clone it and then make the second one a different tune. So it just feels different. Pitching it up just so it doesn't sound too tonally mixed in with the chords. It's gonna mess with time offset with the clap. I don't think we need too much time offset though. Let's use some of my 808s at busyworksbeats.com. We have a new pack called 8-08 and another one called 808 Fire. Let's use some of those sounds. This one stands out. So these stand out. And we're just going to use the one tone. We're not going to use a bunch of notes. feels like we need something to go like something like that. So let me mess with my keyboard sounds, see what I can find. Alright, so I found a Brazilian percussion kit here. All right, so now we're adding this percussive rhythm on top. So it's a little bright, so we might have to turn that one down. So again, without vocals, we're really trying to fill in a lot of space that shouldn't be filled, but it's better to just add a bunch of stuff and remove it when you record. so we have a lot of percussion going on, and I'm gonna group all this stuff and probably distort it or saturate it. So let's see if we can find all our drums. Let's move them over to the right, hitting Alt right, and then let's see if I can find those percussive performances. Let's see if we can find our claps here. We just got to find that percussive cowbell sound or wooden percussion. Now we have all this. Let's highlight it, hit Control, highlight, right click, route to this track only. So now we got the drums on one channel, and now I can mess with different saturation on this. See if we can get a tone out of it. Let's run this back. I'm just thinking of little stuff to add over top, like synthesizers. Let's record this little idea here. So we're just at this point, we don't want to overly produce. You want the vocals there because the vocals they are an instrument. So you could be doing the craziest thing with the vocals. And if basically you want the vocals there, so you're not producing stuff that shouldn't even be in the song to begin with. Let's run this from the beginning. I'll mix it a little bit. This kick fits this track a little bit better. So, what I'm going to do is render this entire track, and we're going to mark, what is this, the 34th bar. We're going to print this and then bring it back in, and I'll show you guys one last technique. So let's export this as a wave. Let's put it anywhere you guys want. And we're going to keep everything on one track, in this case, 32-bit full song cut remainder. From here, I'm going to route everything to the beat mix. That way, when I drag in this new file, I can just mute the entire beat and we won't hear it doubled. Yoga. Whoops. All right, so let's go to the desktop And let's find the beat, drag it in, double click. Let's go to mode, stretch mode, switch it back to resample. What it's doing is giving it a time value. Okay. So now when I mute the beat mix, we should only hear this new track. And what we can do is change the BPM. And when we change the BPM, first we want to go to tools, go to macros. If you're in the older versions of FL, go to switch all audio clips to stretch mode, because if you move the BPM, you don't want your audio drifting everywhere. We're going to go back to this top one and switch it back to resample. And now when we change the BPM, it will change the tuning. So I forgot where we even started. Let's keep that. Okay, 92 BPM. So let's say right about, let's see, what was it, 34th bar. Let's say on this half of the song, we want this to be, and what I forgot to do is take out the drums. Okay, so I got to reprint this song because I'm dumb. Okay, so let's take out all the drums, all the hard drums, I'll say. 808s, kicks, snare. Let's just find out where they are. The hi-hat, we want to take that out. Let's take out the kick. I'll leave in the other percussion, and let's take out any bass. So it should be all music. So I'm just going to render just this so it saves time here. Let's go to File, Export Wave. We're going to do Desktop, and I'll say B. Same process. We're going to drag the file into the project like this. Boom, double click, go to mode, stretch mode, switch it back to resample. Again, you got to make sure that before you do all this, you switch all audio clips to stretch mode so that when you change the BPM, it doesn't morph everything and get off time. All right, now we should be able to mute the beat mix and hear just this new track. So the new track, we can change the BPM. So I'm going to show you guys a way to automate the BPM. Let's insert a track and let's right click, create an automation clip. You want to copy by right clicking and hitting copy value for that first BPM. And now we're going to make sure we have a node. So basically I'm going to drag this higher so that I can for sure start at 90, or at least, and basically you're going to move this node higher so that you can go wherever you need to go with this node and then just paste back 92 BPM. It's just easier to do it that way. So we can have this change BPM, but let's just keep this, we're just going off a tone right now. I think there's a shortcut for lifting the entire thing up. No, I guess not. All right, so what we're going to do is keep this BPM, or keep this BPM. We're going to right click, hit C to copy that value, and right click V on the second node so that it stays consistent. And then we're going to right click the first node to copy the original BPM, and then right click V to paste. The reason I did all that is because you see how close these dots are. It's hard to copy and paste when they're so close together. All right, so let's hear this experiment. So we could slow it down like that, but what I will try to do here is also speed it up. So let's pull the thing higher and just experiment with the higher BPM. Again, you need to right click and make sure that initial BPM is where you guys need it to be. So it sounds cool, slowed and sped up. So I like this ending the best. So I'll save this so you guys can have it. And in the meantime, we'll play it from the beginning. You guys get the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Thank you guys for watching. It's Game from busyworksbeats.com. Peace out, guys.